Hey, Mrparka here to review Discopath, which new film from Black Fond. This is a Canadian French horror film with obviously some dark humor with the title like that. The movie takes place in 1976, well, opens up in 1976, and it follows a very troubled man who every time he hears music he kind of loses his mind, especially disco music. And this sets the stage for 1976. The certain beats and drums and stuff make this guy snap, and he has to kill. It does kind of have like a sillier version of Maniac vibe at points, but the film eventually opens up in a diner where he's working, and you see a little trigger, and eventually he goes out and meets a girl. They go to a dance club, and he commits horrid murder, which is actually probably one of the strongest scenes in the entire film. It's really stylized. It's got a great death, very Argento-like, kind of like those really cool, elaborate deaths in like Suspiria or something in the opening. Not as, anything as iconic as something like that maybe, but still very very intriguing, very cool to look at, and really, the wardrobe and the set locations, so the locations and the set designs and stuff really help this movie pop out, especially in, 76 with the disco era and everything like that. And the girl's killed underneath the dance floor, clear dance floor, and she's looking up for help, and everyone's just dancing above her. It's a really phenomenal scene. But the killer essentially runs away to Montreal, and there he goes into a little job at a Catholic school undercover, working as the audio-visual guy. Obviously saying he's deaf, so, kind of keep that music, not to drive him mad. Essentially, of course, he snaps and the killings start to happen again, and the New York cop who was originally on the case catches on and teams up with the Montreal cops, and you guys can guess what kind of happens there. Like I said, it does have kind of like a slight Maniac vibe, which is more dark comedy, but of course it follows the cops as well. And I do think this movie may be guilty of something like this. Like, it'd be great if there was just a disco themed killer, and we got these couple great death scenes that are really awesome. And it's like, let's build a plot around that, which most movie ideas probably do happen that way. And then they built, the whole Catholic school around it, which opens up for, so kind of a perverted, angry priest, and nudity, Catholic schoolgirls, and really kind of sort of revealing outfits. So, you get a lot of things that are fun with this as well. It doesn't really sound fun how I explained the priest, but it is very funny. Hence, there's a great scene during a funeral I don't want to give too much away. But the movie is a little guilty of, in the very beginning, there is a scene. The opening takes place in New York, and these are French-Canadian actors, and they're trying to do like this Brooklyn, New York tough accent. It shows that does not sound like it. This just sounds really weird and awkward and strange, and I don't. At first I was like, what? Where are they from?
I'm Dwayne. I moved out of there 5 years ago.
Wow, you're serious? I just want to know, say hi and see how you're doing.
Until I realized, oh, they're in New York, duh. But the gore in this movie is pretty top-notch. There's a couple really cool graphic scenes in here. Casket falling out, I really love. That kind of just surprised me. It looked a lot more real than I expected. The gore and special effects are top-notch. I don't remember seeing any digital effects, which is awesome. The ending's very cool. Kind of cuts off, but I believe it's appropriate and fairly realistic for this type of film. Like I said, though, it is not always realistic. It is campy and things like that. But the movie's not a masterpiece by any means, but it's very fun and it's entertaining. And I enjoyed it. I would give this probably the thumbs up. I dug it. The soundtrack's great as well. They got a lot of disco-style songs. The score is really cool. There's a lot of, like I said, colors and slow-motion stylized stuff. And it does seem surreal at moments, even so much so at one scene that I was like, what is going on? Did that really just happen right there? But it kind of did. You figured that much after it goes on a little bit. You're like, oh, I guess that does make a little bit more sense than I was thinking. But as a whole, it's worth watching. It's entertaining. I think the priest and the one of the cops, a couple of the cops do a pretty good job in the film. Like I said, the accent was off, but I don't really blame them for that. Really good clothing choices too, like wardrobe really helped the movie actually seem like a timepiece. It's a fun movie that does a good job at making an actual film. It is silly at points, but everything that is done to it, like as far as the special effects and set designs and the lighting and everything like that is good and great. So, it's something that they took seriously, to entertain you. And I've explained that type of deal. It's they were trying. They just didn't just make something goofy and silly and said, we don't care how it turns out. It's goofy and silly and dark and gory and things like that all at the same time, but they really made a good film with it, and I respect that, and I enjoyed the film. The movie comes with the making of on here and audio commentary. I'll probably be checking out more of their films, Black Fawn. I know they did The House of Flies, and I think they're responsible for As a Tree Falls, Legend of the Psychobilly, or Hillbilly, Crazy Lone Ranger, Park Ranger Killer, or something like that. I can't think right now. But thank you very much for watching, and have a good one as always. I'm Mr. Parka.